All right, so we've been closing cases, right? How many people have closed a case ever? Raise your hand. All right, good. All right, so for those of you who don't have your hands up, if you're brand new, don't worry about it. We'll get there, all right? You got to learn how to like pedal the bike and how a bike works before you close one. After you close one, right, then you kind of know the system, you can close another. Now, how many of you have closed a case, right? Everything seemed good, everything seemed great, but then your enrollment got pushed? Raise your hand. All right, so let's dig into that for a second before I get into what I was really going to talk about, because that seems to be a concern of you guys. First, that's okay if that happens, right? It's not okay if it happens 100% of the time. But let's say it's happening to you 80% of the time. You're closing the case, right? You leave with an enrollment date, you got everything, you get it all approved, right? The enrollment date's that next Tuesday, and all of a sudden it gets pushed, right? And let's say it's happening to you 80% of the time. You need to realize there's something you're doing or there's something you're not doing in that last communication that's leaving that door open for that to happen. Okay? It's not Corona. It's not the environment. It's not Trump, right? It's not President Obama. It's not any of that. It's something you're leaving open, right? And so what you got to do is sit down with somebody and dig into what that is. Now, the only way you're going to do that is not by them asking you questions. It's by you giving the last 3 minutes of your presentation that close to that person. You right? So like, let's say I'm sitting here and Megan. Let's say Megan's closed, 5 or 6 cases, right? And 4 of them got pushed. Okay? What I need to do with Megan as a leader is say, Megan, come on in. All right, pull up your laptop or whatever you're using to give your presentation, right? And jump into like the last 5 minutes. Start at this slide right here, right? And go through it, like word by word. Don't be embarrassed. This is me to find out what you're saying or what you're not saying, to find out why that opening's there. Do you see what I mean? Right? So I implore all of you guys to do that today, right? Because it's okay if something gets pushed, but it's not okay if something gets pushed so far that it doesn't happen. You got to realize you got momentum, right? You got momentum. It's kind of like dating. So if I go and I find this, nice, thick, Lizzo-looking girl, and I'm like, what's up? You know what I mean? And I'm like, you want to go to Texas Roadhouse? And she's like, hell yeah. And I'm like, all right, Friday. And then come Friday, she texts me and says, hey, I can't make Texas Roadhouse tonight, but how about next Wednesday? And I'm like, okay, that's cool. We'll go Wednesday, right? But then Wednesday she texts me and goes, hey, I can't make Wednesday, but I'll, just give me a text in a couple days and we'll find another day, right? Okay, I lost the momentum. She forgot how flavorful this is, right? She forgot why she said yes in the first place, right? So I got to I don't need to keep running with the date. Right? I shouldn't keep texting this girl, hey girl, when are we going out? When are we going out? When are we going out? What I got to do is back off, right? Reevaluate where I'm at and come back into the sales process again, and we close. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Ladies, would you agree with that? Yeah. Like there's times where we're like, okay, yeah, I'll go out with you, right? And then you realize, man, that was the tequila talking, right? And you're like, okay, dang, man. And now you're asking your girlfriends, yo, how do I get out of this date? Right? And your girlfriend say, oh, it's easy. Just say you got to do something that night. Right? Well, I don't. I'm just going to watch Netflix. Yeah, but you don't need to know that. And then you delay it. Right? And so the best way for him to get that date back on is to resell himself. Right? You already have an in, and you already got a yes before, so you need to take a step back. Isn't that what he needs to do? Right? Does he need to harass you and say, when are we having this date? When are we having this date? No, he needs to take a step back. Right? Reevaluate where he stands in life and come back in a different direction and resell you on the idea while you're sober of going out with him. Correct? I need to hear something, ladies. Yeah. Okay, so therefore, right, what makes that difference when it comes to closing a case? You guys got to realize you've lost the love and feeling. You've lost the momentum, right? So first, I'm going to sit down with Megan and say, Megan, give me your presentation. I want to know what the out is or what you're not saying to lock it in. Okay? I'm going to do that. I'm going to give her a little advice about that. That still won't stop all the pushes. There's still going to be some pushes, right? So then when you get pushed that second time, you have to not go for a re-enrollment. You need to go back for a presentation. Even if you already have the paperwork, even if it's already approved, say, hey, you know what? I think we might have got some wires crossed or something like that. If you can give me an opportunity to get back in front of you and show you why this is so important and why to get this done in the third quarter of this year. See, when I'm throwing out things like calendar, like third quarter, right? That's me locking it in to this month. Do you see what I mean? We're in September, right? When's the fourth quarter start? October. So the quarters are every 3 months in the year, right? So if I say, look, let me get back in front of you, let me show you why we need to lock this down third quarter, right? I'm actually saying this next 2 weeks. Do you get me? see, you can use that calendar to your advantage, right? By saying those things. So you got to learn those tactics, right? There's another, you could go in there and say, hey, we got to get this done in the month of September because the fourth quarter is so busy with holidays, right? When you're in the fourth quarter, you're going to say, hey, we need to get this done before we run into Thanksgiving, right? Because you know what's funny about Thanksgiving, Mr. Business Owner? We see people buy too much insurance after Thanksgiving, right? And they're not buying what they need, they're buying what they want and what their family influenced them to buy, right? It's kind of like tequila and saying yes to dates you shouldn't say yes to. Does that happen, ladies?
Yes.
Right?